Hey guys, hi, welcome back to another session on Unacademy Future Doctors. Do let me know if I'm visible and audible to all of you. Let me just check if the live stream has started. Great. Am I visible and audible to all of you? Great. Okay. So, we are currently running a special course on Unacademy Future Doctors that is called Focus Prof 1 and Prof 2. Okay, so this is I'll be your educator for biochemistry here. Many of you have been with me for the past 1.5 months, where we have been conducting the crash course and the rapid revision, the super fast series and the rapid revision series. We have completed the whole course of biochemistry in a rapid manner, crash course manner, focusing on all the important topics. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to read each and every topic, especially the most important ones, and focus on learning. All right, not just learning, but on understanding and comprehension. Okay, that is the most important part. Okay, in detail, we are going to understand different aspects and different topics. Okay, so I have already taken two classes on protein in the evening, and right now I'm going to start with glucose. Okay, we are going to discuss the basic structure of glucose, the different polymers of glucose that are very important for understanding, and from this we are going to take along in the next classes. Okay, so let me quickly brief you about the different types of subscriptions for Unacademy that are available for NEET PG that are available on the Unacademy app, Iconic as well as Plus. All right, the Plus subscription comes with access to uh, top educators through their live as well as recorded sessions. You can also attempt live quizzes and tests during the class. Also, you get to access their notes, printed notes, which can be available in the PDF format. And regularly updated question banks are also provided to you, and all these you can access on any device of your choice, uh, even while on the go. Okay, so this is the USP of this, right? The I plan on choosing. Do not forget the RSHUKLA, which will fetch you an additional 10% discount. Okay, now we are going to read about carbohydrates. Okay, in tonight's class, they contain something related to carbon, isn't it? Because they are carbo, so they will contain something related to carbon, and hydrates means hydrogen plus oxygen. So they are hydrates of carbon. That means they contain carbon plus hydrogen plus oxygen. Okay, and what is the difference between hydrocarbons and carbohydrates? Can any of you tell me what is the difference between hydrocarbons and carbohydrates? Very simple. Hydrocarbons, sorry, I'll write it here. Hydrocarbons will contain carbon plus hydrogen. Okay, and carbohydrates are compounds which shall contain carbon plus hydrogen plus oxygen. Okay, following? Do let me know in the comment section if you guys are following. Let me just check. Let me just check if the stream is running properly or not. Okay, because there seems to be some problem. You guys can tell me in the comment section if it's okay. Okay. All right. So I'll continue. All right. Yeah. Now, I've told you the difference between hydrocarbons and carbohydrates. Okay, very simple. Now, the very basic structural unit of carbohydrates, the most important carbohydrate that we are concerned about, especially in our in the class on metabolism, is glucose. Glucose is synthesized where? Glucose mostly in the plants through the process of photosynthesis, isn't it? Photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight and catalyzed by chlorophyll. Very basic. Utilizing carbon dioxide and hydrogen. Sorry, and water. Carbon dioxide and water utilized by the green leaves. Okay, containing chlorophyll in the plants, which are classically called producers. Why? Because they produce food, and these plant the glucose synthesized by the plant ingested by the animals. Okay, excuse me. So these glucose are ingested by the animals, and these plants, they will be metabolized in the animals to produce energy. Okay, can animals also synthesize glucose? Is it possible for the animals also to synthesize glucose? Any of you, do let me know. Is it possible for animals to synthesize glucose? Yes. Animals can also synthesize glucose from amino acids, lipids through the process of gluconeogenesis. What is gluconeogenesis? It is the synthesis of glucose from non-carbohydrate precursors, isn't it? Synthesis of glucose from non-carbohydrate precursors. Okay. The complex carbohydrates that we are taking, we can digest it down into glucose. That is digestion. That is mainly a polymer of glucose that we are digesting. Okay, we are not synthesizing glucose, rather we are digesting a complex form of glucose into glucose molecules. But through the process of gluconeogenesis, we can produce glucose from a new compound. What is new compound? That is non-carbohydrate compound. So animals can also synthesize glucose through gluconeogenesis. Plants mostly synthesize glucose. Therefore, they are called producers, and animals are called consumers. Okay, understood? Next, we are discussing about some different nomenclatures associated with carbohydrates. Okay, now what are monosaccharides? Saccharide means sugar. What is the meaning of saccharide? Saccharide in Latin means sugar. It is related to sugar. Okay. Mono means single, one. So these monosaccharides cannot be hydrolyzed through, what are these enzymes? Hydrolases. Remember, hydrolases are enzymes that utilize water to decompose or to degrade some molecule. Remember, hydrolases are enzymes which utilize water molecules to degrade or to break down some molecules. Okay, example, digestive enzymes. Okay, so the monosaccharides are such sugars that cannot be hydrolyzed into simpler carbohydrates. That means they are the simplest carbohydrates, the most basic forms. Okay, that can be absorbed by the body. Okay, trioses means they contain 3 carbons. Tri means 3. Tetroses contain 4 carbons. Pentoses contain 5 carbons. Hexoses 6 carbons. So glucose is a hexose, right? Glucose is a hexose. It contains 6 carbons, isn't it? Heptose is 7 carbons. Okay, got it? These are monosaccharides. Okay, now monosaccharides can also be aldoses or ketoses. What are aldoses? They contain aldehyde group. What are ketoses? They contain keto group. Okay, aldehyde is CHO. It is a functional group CHO, and this is CO functional group. Okay, what are polyols? Now, polyols, what does this mean? All is what? All is alcohol. The suffix all stands for alcohol, and the prefix poly stands for multiple. So they contain multiple OH groups in them. Alcohol has what functional group? OH group. They contain multiple OH groups. How? The aldehyde and the keto group in these sugars have been reduced to alcohol. Okay. See, alcohol, when you oxidize it, it forms either aldehyde or ketone. Then you oxidize it further, it will form carboxylic acid. Okay. So, and when you reduce this, it forms aldehyde. When you reduce this further, it forms alcohol. So, alcohol is the reduced form of aldehyde or ketone, right? So, when the aldehyde or ketone group here is reduced to alcohol, it forms a polyol. Okay, now what is the peculiar property of a polyol? Polyols are difficult to absorb. They are difficult to absorb in the body, and therefore they yield lesser energy, and they are used in weight reduction products. There are many foods in the market that claim to be helpful in reduction of weight, isn't it? Those products contain polyols. Okay, got it? Got it, all of you? Next is disaccharides. What are disaccharides? Di, as the name suggests, means two. Saccharide means sugar. So they are composed of, they are condensation products of two monosaccharide units. Two monosaccharide units will combine to form disaccharide. For example, lactose. Lactose is formed from glucose and galactose. Both are monosaccharides. Maltose. Maltose is formed from two glucose molecules. Okay, one more, sucrose. Sucrose is formed from, tell me fast, glucose and one more. Tell me, sucrose is formed from glucose and anyone in the chat section? Any of you? Sucrose formed from glucose and fructose. Okay. Next is oligosaccharides. Oligo means less. Oligo means small, little, small. Okay, so they are small chains of sugar. Small chains, okay. Condensation products of around 3 to 10 monosaccharides. Okay. Condensation product pronunciation, it is SAW. For SANS is SAW. SAW means without in Greek. SAW means without in Greek. Okay, but here it doesn't mean without. This is not SAW. This is hexosan. You would have read about triclosan that is present in toothpaste. Remember, triclosan is an important component of toothpaste, that is an antibacterial, and it provides glistening and brightening properties to the teeth. Okay, so hexosans are, they are polysaccharides containing hexoses. Okay, so polysaccharides of sugar will be called hexosan only, right? Polysaccharide of glucose will be called hexosan only. San stands for polysaccharide. Okay, sans are polysaccharides. Okay, so yeah. Now, sans are polysaccharides. Okay, hexosans means hexo is 6, san is saccharide, polysaccharide. So, hexosans will be polysaccharides containing hexoses. Like, for example, a very classic example, starch or glycogen, isn't it? Right? Because they contain what? Which hexose? Glucose, isn't it? Starch is also called a glucosan. Why? Because it contains glucose, and san is polysaccharide. It is a polysaccharide of glucose. Okay. Pentosans, they will be polysaccharides containing pentoses as important component. Okay. Now there is something called non-starch polysaccharides. What are non-starch polysaccharides? They are present in the diet, but they are non-starch. Why? Because they are not digested like starch. Now, what is starch? Starch is the storage form of sugar in the plants. The storage form of sugar in animals is What is it stored as in the liver and the muscles? Glycogen, isn't it? It is stored as glycogen. Similarly, the storage form of sugar in plants is starch. How? The leaves, they synthesize glucose through photosynthesis, and then that glucose is soluble. That glucose is transported through the phloem vessels throughout the plant, okay, and then it is stored as insoluble starch, okay. Now this starch is the component of fruits, leaves, roots, whatever we are eating, okay. And that starch is then digested inside our body through the process of digestion by the action of hydrolases. Hydrolases are enzymes that utilize water to degrade or to decompose substrates, okay. But there are also few components of plants which cannot be digested like starch, okay. They are also polysaccharides and they cannot be digested like starch. They are also component of the diet, okay. So what are they called? They are called dietary fiber, okay. They are like fiber. They cannot be digested, broken down further. They are called they are what? Example, cellulose, inulin. Inulin has fructose monomers. Cellulose has glucose monomers. Okay. Now, what are the advantages of dietary fiber? Can any of you tell me the advantages of dietary fiber? Advantages of dietary fiber. We are advised to eat a lot of fiber. Why? Because it forms bulk of food. It provides bulk to the food. Okay, therefore it can pass down easily. Therefore, it reduces constipation. It reduces constipation. It absorbs a lot of water because it absorbs water. Okay, and it reduces constipation. Third, it reduces serum cholesterol because it reduces the absorption of cholesterol. Okay. Next is it can reduce weight gain, reduction of weight. How? Because it provides a feeling of fullness. Okay. Got it? These are the advantages of dietary fiber. Next, what are the different structures of glucose? How do you make? The first is the straight chain. Okay, the first is what? The straight chain. This is the straight chain you can see. This is what? This is the aldehyde group. Okay, glucose is an aldose. This is the first carbon, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth. This is what the ring structure. Okay, the ring can be of two types. Furanose ring, F for fura, F for 4, F for furanose. So it is a 4-membered ring. Pyranose, pi, phi. Pyranose, 5-membered ring. Pi, phi. So this is what? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the pyranose ring. The 6th position is occupied by the oxygen. Okay. Now you look at this carbon. When the oxygen is below, when the hydroxyl group is below the ring, it is an alpha glucose. When this hydroxyl group is above the plane of the ring, then it will be beta glucose. Got it? When the hydroxyl group is above the plane of the ring, it becomes beta glucose. When the hydroxyl group is below the plane of the ring, it becomes alpha glucose. Very, very important. Okay. Now this third structure is the Howard structure. This is like a 3D structure, and what it shows when you look at the plane of the ring from the side. Okay, this is the plane of the ring. When you look at it from the side, it becomes the Haworth projection. Now this Haworth projection, these darkened areas are the bonds that are near to us. Okay, these are the bonds that are near to us. Okay, and how does it look like? It looks like a chair, isn't it? It looks like a chair. Okay, got it? These are the 3 ways in which you can depict the glucose structure. Next, what is starch? Starch, as we discussed, it is the storage form of glucose in the plants, and it is what? It is a homopolymer of glucose. Why homo? Homo means same. Polymer means polysaccharide. So it contains glucose units only. So similar units, that means only glucose units. So it is a homopolymer. Okay. It has alpha glucosidic chain. That means alpha glucose is there. Alpha glucose is what? This is alpha glucose, where OH is below the plane of the ring. H is above the plane of the ring. Okay. On the first carbon position. As I told you, it is also called glucosan. Okay. Glucosan, why? San is polysaccharide and glucosan is polysaccharide of glucose. It is what? It is a hexosan. Okay. It contains two different molecules, amylose and amylopectin. Now you see amylopectin. So it has two words. That means you can branch them, you can divide them. So amylopectin has branched chains. Amylose is just one word. So it is non-branching. Non-branching helical structure. Amylose contains alpha 1,4 linkage. Branched chain contains alpha 1,6 linkage. Similar to the branch in glycogen. Don't you remember? Glycogen also has the branch site as alpha 1,6 and the main chain as alpha 1,4. Now you see amylose is lesser in quantity and amylopectin which contains branched chains branch at alpha 1,6 and normal chain at non-branched chain at alpha 1,4. Okay. So the amylose is shorter in name, so smaller quantity. Okay, you can remember like this. Amylopectin longer name, so it will branch also, and since longer name, so it will be larger in quantity also. Almost 80-85%. This is 15 to 20%. Okay. What is glycemic index? Glycemic index is the measure of digestibility of a starchy food. That is how fast or how rapidly it is digested. Okay. Now if a food is high in glycemic index, it will be digested very rapidly and the blood sugar will shoot very rapidly and then it will fall. Okay. So it will not provide a feeling of fullness for long. Okay. For example, high glycemic index foods are like cornflakes, sugar syrups, processed wheat, processed foods. Okay. Low glycemic index foods are like whole wheat. Okay. Complex sugars. Okay. Got it? Understood. Low glycemic index will be digested slowly, so it will gradually increase the blood sugar and will sustain it for some time and then drop. Okay, so it will provide a feeling of fullness. Okay, it will maintain blood sugar. Got it? So for diabetics, which one will be preferred? Tell me in the comment section. Okay, tell me in the comment section for diabetics, high glycemic index is preferred or low glycemic index is preferred. Okay. Now, glycogen. Glycogen is animal starch. Why is it animal starch? Very obvious, because it is the storage form of sugar or glucose in animals. Storage form of glucose in plants is starch. So storage form of glucose in animals is animal starch, glycogen. Okay. One important thing is that it is more branched than amylopectin. Okay, it is more branched than amylopectin. It also contains alpha 1,4 linkage in the main chain formed by glycogen synthase enzyme and alpha 1,6 linkage in the branch site formed by branching enzyme. Okay. Inulin is the polymer of fructose. Okay. Therefore, it is called fructosan. One important property of inulin is that it is readily soluble in water and it gets excreted in the urine. It gets filtered in the glomerulus. So it will determine the rate of filtration of inulin will determine the glomerular filtration rate. Very important. Okay. What are dextrins? As I already mentioned, they are the intermediates in the hydrolysis of starch. Okay, in the digestion of starch. Cellulose and chitin, two molecules, two polysaccharides beginning with C, will have beta 1,4 bonds. Starch and glycogen had alpha 1,4 bonds and alpha 1,6 bonds. They contained alpha glucose, where the hydroxyl group at the 1 carbon position is below the plane of the ring. The beta structure has a hydroxyl group above the plane of the ring. Cellulose present in Plant cell wall. It is a product. It is an important component of dietary fiber. Remember all the advantages of dietary fiber that we read here. It gives bulk to the food. It reduces constipation because it absorbs water. It reduces serum cholesterol level. It helps in reduction of weight. Okay. So all these are properties of cellulose. Okay, got it. And what is chitin? Chitin we have read. Chitinous exoskeleton of arthropoda, right? Crustaceans and insects have an exoskeleton, that is a hard covering outside. This exoskeleton is formed of chitin. Chitin is also present in fungi, fungal cell walls. Where is it present? Fungal cell walls, like mushroom. Remember, see, I have written here mushrooms. In the fungal cell walls, chitin is present. In plant cell walls, cellulose is present. Okay, both of them contain beta-1,4 glycosidic bonds. Alright, so some similarity. They make cell walls and they have beta-1,4 linkage. The storage forms of glucose in plants and animals have alpha-1,4 and alpha-1,6 linkage. Okay, now tell me, what is this glucose? Is it alpha or beta? Look at this carbon. It has OH below, so it is alpha glucose. What ring? Which ring? Pyranose ring, because 5-membered ring. Understood? Beta I'll make here. Beta will be like this. This is beta glucose pyranose ring. So this is the monomer for, tell me, chitin and cellulose. And this is the monomer for starch and glycogen. Got it or not? Okay, now lastly we'll read about epimers. What are epimers? Epimers are molecules which differ at the position of hydroxyl and H ions on one carbon position. Okay, now you can examine these three structures. Okay, the middle structure is that of glucose. It contains at the second carbon, the OH group is below the plane of the ring. At the second carbon here, the OH group is above the plane of the ring. So glucose and mannose are epimers at second carbon position. Okay, remember we had read about epimers in HMP shunt also, xylulose, ribose. Remember, you can go back to the chapter on HMP shunt where we discussed about HMP in super fast series. Okay, Unacademy app as well, on YouTube as well. Okay, you can check that out. And galactose and glucose, if you see, 1, 2, 3, 4. At the fourth carbon, glucose has OH below the plane of the ring. Galactose has OH above the plane of the ring. So they differ. They are epimers at fourth carbon. Got it? Understood? And why have I written alpha D galactose, alpha D glucose and alpha D mannose? Because at the first carbon, can you see OH is below? Here also OH is below. Here also OH is below. Had it been above, then it would have been beta. Understood this? Understood this concept? Now it is for you to answer in the comment section whether galactose and mannose are epimers or not. Understand this, read the definition that I have written carefully, examine the structures and tell me in the comment section whether galactose and mannose are epimers or not. Okay? Alright guys, then if you like this, do subscribe to this channel for more such videos, because we shall be comprehensively covering the entire course for biochemistry here. Okay, and do share it amongst your friends so that we get a lot of interactive sessions. Okay, all right, then let's call it a day. Good night. Bye bye.